So ito, start tayo ng discussion natin. Balik tayo sa Device Corporation Co. of the Philippines. Let's start with Title 6, ang pangalan, Meetings. Now dito sa meetings na to, basically, from your own, alam niyo naman na dito sa meetings na to, dyan pinag-uusapan ng mga board of directors, board of trustees, and ng stockholders or members. Dyan sila nag-uusap-usap, and from that, they will come up with a decision. Basically, yung basic definition ng meetings. Now, pagdating dito sa Title 6, it furthers the discussion, it furthers the concept of meetings when it comes to the concept of corporation. So, start tayo sa Section 48. Section 48 provides the kinds of meeting. Ibig sabihin, ano yung mga kinds of meetings meron pagdating sa corporation. Now, the meetings of directors, trustees, stockholders, or members may be regular or special. So, from that alone, mababasa yan na dalawang kinds of meetings tayo meron. Regular and special. So, kinds of meetings. Meetings of stockholders or members may be regular or those held annually. Ibig sabihin, at least isang beses sa isang taon, parang birthday natin. On a date fixed in the bylaws, or if not so fixed, on any date after April 15, itong after April 15, nakalagay yan sa sa next section natin, section 49, of every year as determined by the board of directors or trustees. It is held principally for the purpose of electing other set of directors or trustees. So basically, yan yung yan yung parang main purpose ng annual meetings ng stockholders or members. Yung not as a main purpose, but principally, most of the time, parang ganun, is the election of a new set of directors or trustees. But later on, malalaman sa Section 49, there are also other agendas or other reasons for those meetings, like presentation ng financial position ng corporation, anong status ng pag-declare ng dividends, magdi-declare ba ng dividends o hindi. So dyan, sa regular meeting. Sa special meeting naman, these are those held at any time did necessary as provided in the bylaws, section 49 and 50, nagbibigay ng additional procedures about dito sa special meeting. So kung kailan nila naisip na parang kailangan ng stockholders meeting dito. So yan. And 'di ba sa mga previous videos natin, nasabi natin yung mga instances where the stockholders can have their special meetings, like mga emergency. So kailangan nila ng emergency meeting. So yan, special meeting. For the board of directors or trustees to naman, regular and special din sila. For the regular, ito yung mga or those held by the board monthly unless the bylaws provide otherwise. So kung unless otherwise stated, usually ang board of directors, board of trustees, nagbi-meeting sila monthly. Kasi bakit? Without reading the further sections, common sense will tell you na sila yung nagpapatakbo ng corporation Sila yung board, sila yung nagpapatakbo ng corporation. So, since sila yung nagpapatakbo ng corporation basically, yung governing body kumbaga, di kailangan nila mag-meeting kasi dapat hands-on sila. And those special meetings the board anytime called upon the president or as provided in the bylaws. So, let's go to section 49. Itong section 49, kung makita nyo, sa copies yun, mahaba yung kanyang provision. Because, nag-in-depth discussion to sa section 49 because we're talking about the regular and special meetings of stockholders or members. Kailang higpitan to. Stockholders or members. So, basahin natin. So, regular meetings of stockholders or members shall be held annually on a date fixed in the bylaws, or if not so fixed, hindi nakalagay, on any date after April 15. Now, sir, anong labot niyan? Anong meaning niyan? Anong importance yan? Bakit specifically sinabi yung April 15? Well, di ba may auditing na kayo? And alam niyo sa auditing, pagdating sa practice, may deadline yan na tinatawag. Kung saan yung mga nag-audit, yung mga nasa SGB, sa KPMG, sa Deloitte, PwC, Resta Kandong, ito yung deadline nila, April 15. Kasi yan yung required na kailangan ng mag-present ng audited financial statement. Oo. Isasubmit yan ng corporation sa sa auditing firm. I-audit yan ng auditing firm. Then before or on April 15, dapat meron ng audited financial statements. Bakit? Bakit? For regulatory purposes ng governments natin and for payment of taxes kasi yan yung deadline ng annual income tax payment ng mga tao, ng mga corporation dito sa bansa natin. Pero if I know, sa train ata naging July ata yun or August. Kalimutan ko. Pero as of now, April 15 yan. So since April 15 deadline ng payment ng taxes, basically, so April 15 rin yung deadline ng audited financial statements. So kapag magmi-meeting na for the stockholders and members, siyempre kailangan mai-present yung board sa kanila. Anong ipipresent nila? Yung audited financial statements. Ipapakita nila kung ano yung financial status ng company. Ano yung income nito? Magkano revenue? Nalulugi ba? Or kumikita? Doon makikita. And ang mga stockholders or members, hindi yan sila magtitiwala sa isang financial statement na hindi audited. Kasi sa auditing, chine-check yan na yung basically kung yung mga inputs mo sa financial statements mo is properly presented. So pag hindi yan audited, may doubt. Pero pag audited yan, wala na halos doubt kasi na-check chinek in-audit. Kaya April 15 yan yung reasoning sa April 15 date. So every year determined by the Board of Directors or Trustees, provided that written notice of regular meetings, written notice ulit. Kasi di ba sa mga previous discussion natin, basta may meeting, kailangan ng notice. The written notice of regular meeting shall be sent to all stockholders or members of record of at least 21 days prior to the meeting. So 21 days. Dati 2 weeks yan. 2 weeks before the meeting, na-sent na yung notice para maging prior to the meeting. Ngayon, tinasan nila 21 days na, so 3 weeks. Or unless a different period is required by the bylaws, law or regulation. Now, provided further that the written notice of regular meetings may be sent to all stockholders or members of record. Ibig sabihin kung ano yung nasa record of the date sa books ng corporation. Ito rin yung bagong improvement, diba? Kasi yung electronic mail or such other matter as the commission shall allow under its guideline, di ba? Yung electronic mail, last time pa natin sinasabi. Isa yun sa mga improvements ng corporation code kasi yung old corporation code, si BP 68, ulitin lang natin, recap lang. BP 68 was enacted on 1980. Hindi pa uso ang electronic mail nun. Ngayon, February 2019, obviously, may electronic mail na. So, for convenience purposes, kasama na yan. Now, at a regular meeting of stockholders or members, regular meeting, tandaan, at the Board of Directors or Trustees shall endeavor to present to the stockholders or members the following. Una, yung minutes of the most recent regular meeting which shall include, among others, ito. Na yung mga jokes sa Facebook na pagtatanungin yung secretary about the minutes of the meeting, sasabihin 50 minutes yung meeting, sir. Hindi, ganito yung nilalaman ng meeting. Description voting, basically kung ano nangyari sa meeting, yan yung minutes of the meeting. Ito another tandaan nyo, under to sa kanila. So dito to sa BNext, member list and stockholders, dito descriptive balance comprehensible assessment of corporate performance, material changes, etc. Ito, financial report, kailangan audited yan. Para magtiwala yung mga board of directors yung mga stockholders and members sa present mo, kailangan audited. An explanation of dividend policy, kung may payment ba or non-payment, and yung reasoning kung bakit hindi magbabayad o magdi-declare ng dividends, baka kailangan ng funds for corporate expansion, future corporate projects. Director trustees include among others qualification, etc. Director trustees, appraisal, director, okay. Basahin niyo na lang. Ito. A director, trustee, stockholder, or member may propose any other matter for inclusion in the agenda at a regular meeting or stockholders or members. Like removal of a stockholder, removal of director or trustee, yun, pwede nila ipasok sa agenda na yun. Ito, when it regards to special meetings, kasi diba, for regular meetings, tawag dito, for regular meetings, 21 days. Yeah? Regular meetings. Ito rin dapat yung nilalaman ng notice. Notice ng presentation nila sa meeting. Now, when it comes to special meeting, simple lang. Kasi obviously special meeting yan. Shall be held at any time deemed necessary or as provided in the bylaws, provided however that at least 1 week. Kasi yung special meeting yan, kung tutuusin, another word dyan or another term dyan is emergency meeting. Baka may contingencies na biglang nangyari, so kailangan mag-meeting sila. So kaya kung makikita nyo, yung written notice, unless otherwise provided, at least 1 week prior to the meeting. As compared sa regular meeting, 21 days. Kasi itong special meeting, emergency yan basically emergency. Salvation to all stockholders, members, unless a different period is provided in the bylaws, laws, or regulation. A stockholder or member may propose the holding of a special meeting and items to be included in the agenda. So, stockholder, pwede sila propose. I-inform lang nila yung tao or yung personnel or yung tao sa corporation that is tasked with the that is tasked with calling for a meeting. Ito. Now ito, notice of the meeting may be waived expressly or implied by any stockholders or members. Like, sasabihin niya, sige kahit wala nang kahit hindi nyo na akong kahit hindi nyo na, parang basically, kahit hindi nyo na ako bigyan ng notice about sa meeting, pupunta pa rin ako. So yun, yun yung meaning ng maybe waived. So kahit no need na. Kasi for procedural purposes, yung notice na yan is mahalaga. Yung notice of the meeting. Kasi pag hindi yan na-follow, pwedeng ma-question yung any decisions na ginawa during the meeting. Like for example, paano ba to explain natin? Like for example, a major part ng significant a significant amount of outstanding capital stock hindi nakadalo sa meeting kasi hindi siya nabigyan ng notice. Pwede niya yung questionin, kung nandyan ako sa meeting, magbabago sana yung decision ng corporation, kaso hindi niya ako binigyan ng notice. So pwede niya yung questionin yung decision na nangyari during the meeting. Ang basis niya, hindi siya binigyan ng notice. So itong notice of the meeting, it is a very important procedural matter na kung saan non-compliance thereof will result to questioning the decisions made during the meeting. Pwedeng sabihin niya na invalid ang meeting na yan kasi significant shareholder ako. Hindi niya ako binigyan ng notice ng meeting, hindi ako nakadalo, hindi ko nabigay yung opinion ko. Now, pwede sanang maka-affect doon sa decision na nangyari. Notice of the meeting. And take note, ang sinabi ko, significant shareholder, hindi yung major shareholder. Kasi, di ba meron tayong ruling na 2/3, minsan majority. Kaya sinabi ko, significant shareholder lang. Note lang. So, yun. Basically, pwedeng ma-waive yan. Na, okay, goods lang sa akin na hindi niya ako bigyan ng notice sa meeting. Walang problema dyan. As long as na-inform ako, okay lang, goods. Now, provided that general waivers of notice in the articles of incorporation or bylaws shall not be allowed. Yung kapag nakalagay sa articles of incorporation sa bylaws. Now, provided further that attendance at a meeting shall constitute a waiver of notice of such meeting. Obviously, nasa meeting ka Ibig sabihin, aware ka na may meeting. Bakit? Kasi ang purpose lang naman ng notice is to inform the person na, on this schedule, may meeting tayo. Yun man yung purpose ng notice. Di ba? To inform the person. In this case, to inform the stockholder or member. Kaya sabi dito, the mere fact na nasa meeting ka, ibig sabihin, alam mong may meeting. That is why it shall constitute as a waiver. But take note, that is the general rule. May exception. Except when the person attends a meeting for the express purpose of objecting to the transaction of any business because the meeting is not lawfully called or convened. Yun. So ito yung sasabi natin, yung kanina, pwede ang stockholder mag-propose ng holding a meeting, sabihan niya lang yung person in charge na, uy, gusto ko mag-meeting, itong agenda, pag-usapan natin. Now, sabi dito, whenever for any cause there is no person authorized or the person authorized unjustly refuses to call a meeting. Unjustly. This unjustly is to be determined by the commission. To call the meeting, the commission, kung saan titingnan niya, proper ba na mag-call na meeting, upon petition of a stockholder or member on a showing of good cause thereof, may issue an order directing the petitioning stockholder or member to call a meeting of the corporation by giving proper notice as required by this code or the bylaws. So makita nyo, sasabi dito. Ang stockholder or member, pwede sila mag-propose. Pero kapag walang tao na authorize mag-call ng meeting, like for example, namatay, so tas hindi pa na-fill up yung vacancy, and no other person was authorized kasi hindi written sa articles of incorporation or wala sa bylaws nila. Or this second instance, merong authorized na person na magtawag ng meeting pero unjustly refuses to do so. Then in that instances, si stockholder member pwedeng pumunta kay commission. Ay, commission, gusto ko sana magpatawag ng meeting kaso due to some circumstances, either walang authorized person or yung authorized person unjustly refuses to do so, hindi ka makakatawag ng meeting. Kailangan namin ng meeting ngayon because there are some emergencies na nangyari. So yan, upon showing good cause, pwede. Now, the petition stockholder or member shall preside thereat until at least a majority of stockholder members present have chosen from among themselves a presiding officer. Now, unless the bylaws provided for longer periods, stock transfer shall be closed 20 days, blah, blah, blah. Now, in case of postponement, mahaba diwang section 49 kasi meeting to In case of postponement of stockholders or members regular meetings, written notice thereof and the reason therefore shall be sent to all stockholders. Pag nagkaroon ng postponement, the right to vote of stockholders or members may be exercised in person. Ito, mahalaga to. Bakit? Tingnan nyo. The right to vote, pwede nilang exercise kapag nasa nasa meeting talaga sila or may proxy sila. Itong proxy ma-discuss natin ito later on, but basically may substitute sila or when authorized sa bylaws ng corporation through remote communication or absentia. Baka Skype lang, Zoom sila. The commission or like this year, mga meeting mga meeting this 2020, marami diyan. Zoom sila. Video call. The Commission shall issue the rules and regulations governing participation and voting through remote communication, taking account of company scale, etc., etc. So the salient points, basically, ano yung mga changes na nangyari, ano yung mga innovations. Ito, 15 days, regular meeting, ito 21 days, dati 2 weeks yan. When notices may now be sent to stockholders, electronic mail, pwede na. Ito, changes, revisions, ito, gaya sabi natin, April 15 change yan, yung 2 weeks notice prior to the regular meeting, 21 days na ngayon. There's an exhaustive list of matters required to presented, yung lista na binigay natin. Ito. Saan pa? General waivers, bawal maglagay sa articles of corporation and bylaws. 20 days, yung closing ng books, yan lang. Basic na basic. So, di ba? Sa starting pa lang, sinabi natin bakit mahalaga ang meeting. Basically, on our own words, mahalaga ang meeting kasi sa meeting na yan, dyan nagkakaroon ng discussion as to what will be the decisions to be made in relation to the pagpapatakbo ng corporation, in the running of the corporation, the operations. So, the corporate powers are vested in the board of directors and our stockholders or members as a body and not as an individual. Kasi meeting yan Alam nga mag-meeting ka sarili mo. Hindi meeting ang tawag doon. Ito, a meeting, 2 or more people, mag-discuss sila. Yan ang meeting. So ito, may dalawa tayo. For stockholders or members and for the board. So for the stockholders and members, it is a fundamental rule daw ng corporation law that unless the statute otherwise provide, stockholders or members can only act in meetings properly convened and assembled. The written assent, ibig sabihin the written agreement of a majority of the shareholders or members without a meeting to a matter requiring action by them is not sufficient. Basically, it is for their own protection. Bakit? Kasi sa isang meeting that was properly convened, dyan nila nabo-voice out yung mga opinion nila. yung mga gusto nila, yung mga desire nila na ganito gusto nila patakbuhin ng corporation, gusto nila na may ma-declare na dividends, gusto nilang may tanggalin na directors or trustees, or gusto nilang mag-elect sila ng gusto nilang director or trustees. Diyan sa meeting nila, na-voice out yung opinion. Basically, that's the general idea ng meeting, di ba? Diyan kayo nagdi-discuss, diyan yung bino-voice out ang opinion nyo, and in the end, you will come up with a decision. And in that case, ganun rin kahalaga pagdating sa stockholders or members. Kasi tandaan nyo, minsanan lang sila. Minsanan lang yung regular meeting nila. Unless otherwise provided annually, di ba? Once a year. So, and minsanan din yan ng mga special meetings sila. So, since minsanan din sila magkita, it is very important na at this venue, magkakaroon sila ng mga venues kung saan, in that venue, pwede nilang ma-voice out yung opinion nila kung ano yung gusto nilang mangyari sa corporation. Now, pagdating naman sa meetings ng board of directors or trustees, similarly, as agents of the corporation managing its affairs, the directors or trustees can only exercise their powers as a board, not individually or separately. The law proceeds upon the directors or trustees shall meet and counsel with each other, and that any determination affecting the corporation shall only be arrived at after a consultation at a meeting of the board notice to all attended by at least a quorum of its members. As you can see, sila basically yung governing body ng corporation. So it's very important for them to convene para pag-usapan nila paano patatakbuhin yung corporation. Ganun kasimple yung necessity for a meeting among the boards of the corporation. So, additional note lang kasi later on, madidiscuss to na general rule, dapat properly followed yung procedural matters pagdating sa meeting para kung ano yung action taken in the meeting will be valid. That is the general rule. But there are exceptions na kung saan kahit na hindi properly convened yung meeting, kung ano may napag-decide doon, magiging valid pa rin. Yun yung exception. Kasi kaya ko ito sinasabi ngayon pa lang, kay later sections pa man yun, kasi nakalagay dito, the written assent of a majority of shareholders or members without a meeting to a matter requiring action by them is not sufficient. As you can see here, majority. Pero kapag nilagay mo ang word na all dito, the written assent of all of the shareholders or members, then it will be valid. Oo, later on, Pen. Pero dito, since majority ang nilagay, hindi, kasi hindi properly convened. Pero pag all ang nilagay dito, properly, kung ano may napag-decide doon, magiging valid. Ito yun, no? Exceptions to the rule. So the general rule is that where the law expressly requires a meeting for a particular transaction, any action taken by the corporation without a meeting properly held for such purpose is void. So, general rule, dapat proper a meeting para kung ano may na-decide sa meeting, maging valid. But since that is a general rule, and as we know, general rule, may mga exceptions yan. Ito yung exceptions. Under Section 15 ng Code, stated doon, any corporation may amend its article of incorporation by a majority vote ng board of directors or trustees and the vote of a written assent. Ang assent meaning agreement yan, yung dissent yung disagreement. So, or a written assent of 2/3 of the stockholder representing at least 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock or 2/3 of the members. Thus, a meeting of stockholders or members is not necessary. Kita nyo? Written assent lang ang kailangan. Hindi kailangan sa meeting. Kaya dito nakalagay, thus a meeting of stockholders or members is not necessary. Kasi written assent lang kailangan. Pangalawa, it is evident that the corporation will be bound by the unanimous, ibig sabihin lahat sila, by the unanimous act or agreement of the stockholders members, although expressed as elsewhere than at a formal meeting. Gaya na sabi natin dito, kapag majority lang, hindi. Pero kapag unanimous, lahat sila in agreement, kahit na hindi properly convened elsewhere than at a first formal meeting, hindi properly convened. As long as lahat sila in agreement, goods yan. And lastly, in any case of meetings, or in any cases mentioned in Section 100, ito sa close close corporation, any action taken by the directors of a closed corporation without a meeting shall nevertheless be deemed valid unless otherwise provided in bylaws. So, matagal-tagal pa tayo bago Section 100 sa closed corporation. Basically, meaning nito, since sa closed corporation, kukonti lang sila. Basically, kung sino yung mga shareholders, sila na rin yung board of directors. Ganon. Ulitin ko. Since sa closed corporation, kukonti lang sila, kung sino-sino yung mga shareholders, sila na rin yung nagiging board of directors. So, bakit ganon? Kasi, bakit ganon? Kasi, di ba, anong reason? Bakit, recap to, anong reason bakit meron tayong board of directors? Even though yung owners ng company is yung mga shareholders. Because kailangan ng isang compact body for governing the corporate affairs. Kasi masyadong malaki, masyadong marami yung mga shareholders na it will be inefficient kung sila yung magiging governing body. Di ba? Kaya meron tayong compact size, compact body, tinatawag natin ng board of directors, para efficient yung pag-govern sa corporation. Now, pagdating sa closed corporation, since kukonti lang yung mga shareholders, so there's no need, parang hindi na need ng existence ng board na mag-vote pa sila kung sinong board of directors kasi kukunti lang sila eh. So yung goal of efficiency, not necessary affecting the closed corporation as it is affecting the large corporations kasi ang closed corporations kukunti lang yung mga shareholders. Kaya dito, since the shareholders are already basically the board of directors kasi kukonti lang naman sila, edi kahit goods pa rin. So, ma-discuss man natin later on section 1. Pero advance note lang. Ito, requisites ng valid meeting, held proper place, general rule to Kasi, gaya na sabi natin, ito yung mga exceptions. Must be held at a proper place, must be held at stated date and appointed time, must be called proper person, quorum. If a meeting, or if the meeting is held at an unauthorized place or without proper notice, stockholder present, also right. Klompe may take step aside to set aside any action taken at such meeting, even though a majority, tandaan nyo, even though a majority of the stockholders or members are present in the absence of waivers, stopel, or ratification. Ginagamit dito parati majority, di ba? Kasi pag all yan, valid yan. Pero pag majority lang, kapag improperly convened, invalid yan. Now, let's go to section 50 which talks about the place and time of meetings of stockholders or members. So, ito, time and place. So, sabi dito, stockholders or members meetings, whether regular or special, shall be held in the principal office ng corporation as set forth sa Articles of Incorporation ito, or if not practicable in the city or municipality where the principal office ng corporation is located. Provided na that any city or municipality in Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, Metro Davao, and other metropolitan areas shall for purposes of this section be considered a city or municipality. Notice of meeting shall be sent through the means of communication provided in the bylaws, which notice shall state the time, place, and purpose of the meetings. So each notice, ito naman nilalaman ng each notice. Anong nilalaman yan? Yung agenda ng meeting, anong klaseng proxy form meron, attendance, participation, when the meeting is for the election of director status, the requirement and procedure for nomination and election, which was discussed last time. Ito, agenda of the meeting, like presentation ng financial statements ng company, ng audited FS, anong financial standing ng company, financial status, magdi-declare ba ng dividends, election, kung election yan, ito, proper procedures, or kung removal, ganun. Or baka may amendments na kailangan gawin, yun, agenda yan sa meeting. Now, all proceedings of any business transacted at a meeting of the stockholders or members, if within the power or authority of the corporation, shall be valid, even if the meeting is improperly held or called, provided that all, tiyan nyo, yan yung keyword talaga dito, that all the stockholders or members of the corporation are present or duly presented at the meeting and not one of them expressly states at the beginning of the meeting that the purpose of their attendance is to object to any transaction or business because the meeting is not lawfully called or convened. So kahit na aware sila na improperly convened yung meeting, wala silang kebs. Basta magkaroon lang ng meeting. Dapat all in agreement. Pero pag majority lang, di invalid yan. Ayan. Batas na mismo nagsabi. So, salient points, Section 50, reiterated in the bylaws, notice of special meetings may be sent through any means of communication allowed by the new code, gaya ng electronic mail. Further provides the contents of notice of the meeting. Ito. Changes, yung Metro Cebu, information company proxy forms, express purpose attendance object, yan. Place and time of meetings of stockholders. The proper place for the holding of stockholders meetings provided in Section 50. This is mandatory. Kailangan. And as you can see, sabi dito, specific eh. 'Di ba? Sa board of directors and sa trustees, na-mention naman natin, na in and out of the Philippines, pwede. Pero pagdating sa meeting ng stockholders or members, nakalagay dito, principal office ng corporation. Or kapag hindi practicable, in the word, or if not practicable in the office in the city where the principal office of the corporation is located. So basically principal office talaga sa board of directors and trustees, which later on madidiscuss natin, pero na-mention natin last time pa, in and out of the Philippines, pwede. So kung gusto nila mag-meeting sa US, goods lang mga board. Pero sa Philippines, para sa stockholders and members, principal office lang. Powers provided by laws, time calling meeting. Ito, the proper person to call meeting. So the call for meeting is exercised by the person who has the power to call the meeting. So sino sila? Depende. Una, the person or persons designated sa bylaws have authority to call the meeting, stockholders or members meeting. Kapag walang provision sa bylaws, then the meeting may be called by a director or trustee or by an officer entrusted with the management of corporation unless otherwise provided sa bylaw. Sa provided bylaw, hindi to bylaw sa bylaw, batas hindi yung bylaws natin. Under section 49, a stockholder or member, ito naman sa ating kanina, kapag walang person authorized or kapag yung person authorized unjustly refuses, then the stockholder pwede siyang tumakbo kay Securities and Exchange Commission para magbigay ng authority si Commission kay stockholder na magtawag ng meeting. Then the special meeting for the removal of directors trustees may be called by the secretary ng corp or by stockholder provided sa section 27 na mention dito kanina last time. Ito notice notice of every meeting required as distinguished from call. Notice is the writing informing the stockholders or members of the meeting. So itong call basically nagtatawag ka ng meeting. Hindi nagtatawag. Parang dito ka na mag-start ng announcement sa meeting. Then yung announcement mo nakalagay dito sa notice, parang ganun yun. Under the present law, written notice must be sent to registered stockholders or members 21 days before the meeting. Kapag special meetings 1 week before. Unless provided sa bylaws. Dito naman, in meetings ordered by the Securities and Exchange Commission, kung saan may nagreklamo o may tumakbo o may nagpetisyong stockholder or member sa kanila, it is evident that notice is necessary. However, notice of any meeting may be waived expressly impliedly by any stockholder or members, as we have said kanina. The corporate bylaws govern the procedure of sending notice of meeting. If the bylaws is silent, the matter prescribed in Section 49 shall be followed. Ito, requisite para sa notice ng meeting issued by the person na may authority to issue it. Must be in writing, electronic mail, or any manner allowed by the SEC depending sa regulation sila. State the date and time, place ng meeting, obviously, para aware sila saan sila pupunta. Baka meeting nyo nasa McDo, yun pala, nasa Jollibee kayo. Baka akala nila ang meeting sa McDo, yun pala nasa Jollibee, parang ganun ba? It must state the business to be transacted there at anong agenda nyo sa meeting. Tanggalan ba ng ng member ng board? Tanggalan ba ng tawag ito? amendment ba ng corporation, you must state the agenda. It must be sent a certain time before the scheduled meeting, as fixed by the law, or unless a different period is required by the laws. Like pag unless otherwise provided, 2 weeks, 21 days prior to the regular meeting scheduled, or 1 week prior to the regular special meeting scheduled, and further, the notice must comply with any other requirements prescribed by the bylaw or the bylaws of the corporation. Effects of failure to comply with requisites for the meeting. So under Section 50, Paragraph 2, all proceedings had and any business transacted at a meeting of stockholders or members shall be valid even if the meeting is improperly held or called, provided the following two requisites. Ito, na-mention natin to kanina, di ba? That the proceeding had and the business transactions are within the power of the corporation, that basically hindi sila ultra vires, within the powers of the corporation. Ano mga powers yun? Express, implied, and incidental. And that lahat ng stockholders unanimously, all stockholders members of the corporation are present or duly represented at the meeting. Ibig sabihin lahat sila. Kapag majority lang, kahit lahat sila na nandoon, pero majority lang yung nag-agree, bad pa rin. Kailangan lahat sila nandoon or properly represented and lahat sila nag-agree. Kasi mahalaga, lahat sila. Now, let's go to Section 51. Now, Section 51 provides for a quorum in meetings. Yung quorum, di ba, napag-usapan natin yan last time pa. Basically, ang quorum, unless otherwise provided sa bylaws, it is the unless otherwise provided in this code or in the bylaws, a quorum shall consist of the stockholders representing a majority of the outstanding capital stock, or pag non-stock corporation, a majority of the members in the case of non-stock corporation. So for example, may 100 members tayo sa isang non-stock corporation, ang quorum doon is 51 kasi dapat majority. Pero kapag sinabi ng bylaws na 2/3 yung quorum para sa non-stock corporation, edi dapat 2/3 yung out of 100 yung nandoon. So that is 66. So dapat 67. Di ba? So unless otherwise provided, majority. Alam natin na majority, 50% plus 1. So kapag 10 members, edi 6 dapat sa isang 6 yung quorum. So napaka-basic kasi na-discuss naman natin to last time pa. So quorum required in stockholders and members meeting. Section 46B permits corporation to determine in their bylaws the required quorum in meetings of stockholders or members for the transaction of business at such meetings. In the absence of a quorum, no action can be taken except to adjourn. So yan ang kahalagahan ng quorum. As we have said last time, kapag walang quorum, anything na ginawa mo sa meeting na yun, invalid. Kasi requirement yung quorum. So kapag walang quorum, nag-meeting kayo, 10 kayong total, ang pumunta 5 lang, di wala kayong pwedeng gawin except to adjourn. Kasi dapat 6 kayo nandyan kaso 5 lang yung pumunta. So no action can be taken except to adjourn the meeting. So pag nag-adjourn ka na meeting, try nyo ulit mag-meeting ulit, make sure na quorum na ang next. So matters in which the law requires minimum number of votes. So any matter or transaction must necessarily fail if the votes attained are less than what the law requires for the particular transaction. Hence, if there is a tie, the issue or proposition loses. So dapat dapat i-follow nyo kung ano yung number of votes required. Kasi kung kahit tayo ng issue, wala. Kung draw yan, talo pa rin. So here under are the enumerated corporate acts together with the corresponding minimum votes required for their approval. So ito mahalaga to. Kasi ang basically ito, hindi nyo na kailangan tingnan-tingnan pa, hanap-hanapin sa books kung saan dito yung required number of votes for this action, another required number of votes for this action, may list na dito. Makikita nyo rin tong list na to sa internet. Kung ano yung mga required number of votes for corporate action. So kita nyo dito. As provided Section 15, yung amendments ng Articles of Corporation, Majority Board, 2/3. Sa mga reviewers, usually makita nyo dyan, First column, corporate action. Second column, required number of votes from the board of directors or trustees. And the third column would be the required number of votes from the stockholders or members. So, ilalagay dito. Sa first column, amendments of articles of incorporation. Sa second column, ilalagay dyan, majority for the boards. Or pagdating naman sa third column, vote or written assent, 2/3 outstanding capital stock. Election directors, majority lang na outstanding capital stock. To remove them, 2/3 ang kailangan. To continuous yan to. Basta-basahin nyo na lang. Pagdating sa board exam, mahalaga na ma-familiarize nyo to. Kasi isa yan sa mga tinatanong pagdating sa corporation code. Yung mga number of votes required. 2/3 ba to? Majority lang ba? Majority 2/3? Quorum ba? Enough ba? Quorum lang dito? Or minsan kailangan all. O hindi lang quorum. Minsan kailangan all. Minsan nalagay dyan 2/3 out of all the outstanding capital stock. Minsan 2/3 out of the quorum lang. So, tandaan yung mga yan. Trustees, 2/3, majority. Ito pa. Issue stock dividends. Di ba? Pag cash or property, majority lang. Pero kapag stock dividends, kailangan ng affirmation ng stockholders unless pwede naman, adopt bylaws to, majority lang, outstanding capital stock. Amend repeal sa bylaws, majority. Delegate to amend the bylaws, 2/3. Pero pag revocation, as we have said, majority lang. Fix the issue, effect the plan, merger consolidation, dissolve the corporation, to adopt plan distribution, gating voting requirement. A corporation may prescribe a greater voting requirement for the approval of any of the above corporate acts in its articles of incorporation or sa bylaws in order to protect the rights of the minority stockholders. Kasi itong mga requirements na to, mga unless otherwise provided lang to, as stated din. Such higher numbers is also the number necessary to constitute a quorum. Note that in number 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12, 14, 18, 19, 20, the acts mentioned must be approved by both the board of directors and trustees, board of directors or trustees, and the stockholders or members. Any matter transaction must necessarily fail if the number of votes attained is less than what is prescribed for the particular transaction. If an issue to be resolved requires a majority for it to be passed and there is a tie, then the issue or proposition simply loses. Kasi hindi natin yung required number of votes, which is majority. Therefore, no need to break the deadlock. So ito, napag-usapan natin yung meeting ng stockholders or members. Let us go now sa meeting ng directors, ng board of directors or ng trustees. Quorum. So dito nakalagay, simpleng-simple lang. Unless the articles of incorporation or the bylaws provides for a greater majority, a majority of the director or trustees as stated sa articles of incorporation shall constitute a quorum. Kung 10 yan sila, edi 6 yung quorum. Pero pag sinabi ng tawag dito, ng articles of incorporation na ang quorum na or ng bylaws na ang quorum is dapat 2/3 or dapat at least 8, then yun yung susundin. Pero pag hindi provided, then majority yung quorum. So tingnan yan. Kung provided ba sa AOI or sa bylaws kung ano yung quorum. Kung hindi provided, majority yan agad. Except for the election of officers which shall require the vote of majority. Ito yung mga importante pagdating sa voting. Ano ang kailangan? Quorum lang? Majority of the quorum or majority of all or 2/3 of quorum or 2/3 of all. Kasi ang quorum, like for example, kailangan lang na votes is majority of quorum. So 10 kayong board of directors, 6 yung pumunta sa meeting. So majority of the quorum ang kailangan sa voting. So ang kailangan lang dyan is 4 out of 6. So kahit 10 kayong board of directors, pero ang sabi majority of the quorum, 6 yung quorum. So 4 out of 6 para maging valid yung decision. Yan kapag yung sinabi majority ng quorum yung required votes. Pero may mga instances na majority of all the members. Yan yung tandaan nyo. All the members. Hindi lang quorum. All the members. For example, ang kailangan number of votes nag-attend ng meeting, 6 out of 10. Tapos, ang kailangang number of votes is majority of all. So, dapat yung 6 na nag-attend, mag-agree sila, mag-vote sila, mag-assent sila. Pero pag 5 lang yan dyan, kahit na sobra pa sa majority of quorum, since ang required is majority of all, wala pa rin yan. Kung 5 yan, dapat 6. O, di ba? Tandaan yung difference. Majority ng quorum, majority of all. Ang difference sa majority of quorum from the majority of all shall be valid as a corporate act. Regular meetings of the Board of Directors or Trustees of every corporation shall be held monthly unless otherwise provided sa bylaws. Yung special meetings naman of the Board of Directors or Trustees may be held at any time upon the call of the President or as provided sa bylaws ng corporation. So ito, regular meetings unless otherwise provided, monthly. Kasi, bakit monthly? Sila yung governing body ng corporation . Sila basically yung may nagpapatakbo. So, kailangan, nandyan sila parati, hands-on sila sa kanilang trabaho. Ito ng special meetings, called by the President as provided by laws. Now, meetings of directors or trustees ng isang corporation may be held, ito yung sinasabi natin last time pa, anywhere outside or inside the Philippines. Unless the bylaws provide otherwise. Sabihin lang ng bylaws, o sige, outside of the Philippines lang yung meeting natin. O, goods yan. Or sabihin ng bylaws, sa Philippines lang yung meeting natin, within Metro Manila. Goods pa rin yan. Pero pag walang stated sa bylaws, then anywhere. Kahit sa Antarctica pa yan, goods pa rin. So notice of regular or special meeting stating the date, time, and place of the meeting must be sent to every director or trustee at least, tiyan nyo dito, 2 days lang prior to the scheduled meeting unless a longer time is provided by laws. Kasi yun ang sabi natin, di ba? Kaya kahit na yung stockholders or members yung owner ng corporation, mga owners ng corporation, kaya meron tayong board of directors or trustees kasi kailangan natin ng compact body to govern the corporation for the sake of efficiency. And as you can see here, because of that efficiency, at least 2 days lang yung kailangan prior to the scheduled meeting, minimum. Or unless a longer time is provided by laws. Pagdating sa stockholders, stockholders members, kailangan mo ng 3 weeks, 21 days para sa regular meeting. 1 week para sa special meeting. Dito 2 days lang. Efficiency. Mabilisan. Kasi, pag stockholders yan directly, magulo yan. Kaya nga tayo may democratic, kaya nga tayo mga governments, di ba? The power emanates from the people. But, if you will give the people the chance or the responsibility to rule the country, then it will result to anarchy, to chaos. Hence, the existence of government. That the people will just delegate the power to the government para patakbuhin yung bansa. Same dito. The ownership comes from the stockholders, from the members. But if you will give them the chance or the responsibility to rule the corporation, then it will result to chaos, to anarchy, kaguluhan. Kasi masyado silang marami. Kaya kailangan ng isang board. Kasi yung board na yan, directors man o trustees, they are a compact body that is efficient in running the corporation. Pero of course, may exception tayo dyan, as we have mentioned kanina, yung close corporation. Bakit? Kasi yung close corporation, kukonti lang yung mga stockholders dyan. So kaya most of the time, sila na mismo yung nagiging directors ng corporation kasi konti lang sila . So yun ang exception. A director or trustee may waive this requirement either expressly or impliedly. Directors or trustees who cannot physically attend or vote at board meetings can participate and vote through improvements into remote communication such as video conferencing, teleconferencing, or other alternative modes of communication that allow them reasonable opportunities to participate. Directors or trustees cannot attend or vote by proxy at board meetings. So, saktong-sakto yung timing ng ating revised corporation code, February 2019. Pagdating ng 2020, COVID tayo. So, yun. Since sa revised corporation code, inallow yung remote meeting, yung remote participation sa meeting. goods na. Pwede na sila mag-Zoom, mag-Google Meet, mag-Skype. Kasi allowed naman ng batas natin yung remote communication. Saktong-sakto yung timing, di ba? Na ito, tandaan, pagdating sa stockholders and members, pwede ang proxy sa board meeting. Pwede may substitute sila, may representative. Pero pagdating sa trustees and director, bawal ang proxy, bawal ang substitute. Kailangan personal talaga sila. Sila talaga yung mag-a-attend, sila talaga yung magpa-participate sa meeting. Kaya pwede na sila mag-attend ng meeting, remote communication. Hindi na sila magpadala ng proxy kasi bawal. So remote communication na lang yung pag-attend nila ng meeting. A director or trustee who has potential interest in any related party transaction must recuse from voting on the approval of the related party transaction without prejudice to the compliance with requirements of Section 31 of this code. Yan yung interlocking directors, if you can still remember. So dapat di siya mag-participate. Kasi may conflicting interest siya. So balikan niya lang yung interlocking directors natin nung Section 31. Now, who shall preside the meeting? Sabi ng Section 53. So the chairman or in his absent, the president, di ba, chairman of the board. Pero usually, sa makikita nyo, di ba, kung sino yung chairman, siya rin yung president, siya rin yung CEO. Parang ilang title sa isang tao. Or in his absent, the president shall preside at all meetings of the director trustees as well as of the stockholders or members unless the bylaws provide otherwise. So, presiding officers at meetings, si President, Chairman, Vice Chairman. The President shall preside sa mga meetings ng Board of Directors at Trustees and ng stockholders or members. Siya yung presiding officer basically. Even where the Chairman of the Board is present at such meeting unless otherwise provided sa bylaws and subject to the provisions ng Article 14, Section 49. Thus, the bylaws may provide that the Chairman instead of the President shall preside at board meetings kapag may vice chairman tayo, provided sa bylaws, he shall preside kapag absent si chairman. So, yan. So, president, pero pag provided sa bylaws si chairman, edi si chairman. Kung may vice chairman tayo sa bylaws, then kapag wala si chairman, si vice chairman. Ganun lang kasimple. Ngayon, stockholders or members in a temporary capacity, di ba, as you have said, pwede sila. Lalo na pag sila yung nagpetition sa meeting. Sa kay commission. Where the officer entitled to preside is not present at the time of the meeting to convene, it has been recognized that a stockholder or member who takes the floor may temporarily preside at the meeting of stockholders or members pending the selection of the presiding officer. Ito, in the absence, di ba? In the absence of an officer. Unless the contrary is provided sa bylaws, the presiding officer may be selected by viva voce vote of the stockholders or members present. Now, for those not familiar with viva voce vote, big sabihin, tatanungin lang sila, sinong gusto nyo maging or agree ba kayo na itong si Poncio Pilato ang magiging presiding officer natin? So, ang viva voce vote, sisigaw lang sila, say aye, or say nay, or sino mag-agree, taas kamay, sigaw, yun, viva voce yun. So, ito, stockholder or member chosen, ito naman yung sinabi natin kanina, di ba? Where yung kapag there's no officer or the officer who is responsible to call the meeting refuses to do so, then the stockholder can go to the Securities Exchange Commission, file a petition with good grounds na magpatawag ng meeting. So in that case, this stockholder or member siya yung magpipreside ng meeting. Wherefore, any cause no person is authorized to call a meeting, the petitioning stockholder member authorized ng commission to call a meeting of the corporation shall preside thereat. Di ba? Until at least a majority ng stockholders or members present have chosen one of their member as presiding officer. So, kung wala silang pinili, si stockholder or member na nag-petition kay Securities Exchange Commission. So, the fact that a director is at the same time the presiding officer of the meeting does not deprive him of the right to vote as such director. Kasi to be a director, di ba? Kailangan meron kang shares sa corporation. So, may karapatan ka rin bumoto. May shares ka sa corporation di ba? He cannot be deprived of the right by majority vote of its board without his consent. Ito, This talks about the right to vote ng mga secured creditors and administrator. Ano to mga secured creditors and administrator? Basically, may utang ka sa isang tao. Then, sa utang mo, sa debt contract mo, DEBT ha, debt contract, na nandoon stipulated na binibigyan mo ng karapatan si creditor mo on your right to vote as a shareholder of this particular corporation. So the right to vote of secured creditors and administrator in case a stockholder grants security interest in his or her shares in the stock corporation. The stockholder grantor, yung may utang, yung debtor, shall have the right to attend and vote at meetings of stockholder. Like, for example, ginawa mong collateral yung shares mo sa corporation. Yung shares mo is your ownership over that corporation. Kaya ito stockholder grantor, siya yung may utang. Tapos yung shares niya, yung stocks niya, ang ginawa niyang collateral, security. Kaya ang tawag sa creditor sa ganun is a secured creditor. Kasi yung security niya is yung stocks ng stockholder grantor. Now, yung dito, the stockholder grantor shall have the right to attend and vote at meetings of stockholder. May karapatan pa rin siya kahit ginawa niyang security yung kanyang stocks. Pero, unless the secured creditor is expressly given by the stockholder grantor such right in writing which is recorded in the appropriate corporate books. So yan, kapag binigyan ng karapatan expressly ni stockholder grantor, yung secured creditor niya, na si secured creditor na yung magpa-participate sa right to vote niya, then goods. As long as it is in writing and recorded sa books ng corporation. So pwede yan. Executors, administrators, receivers, and other legal representatives duly appointed ng court may attend and vote in behalf of the stockholders or members without any need of any written proxy. Kasi at court nang nagano yan eh. So manner of voting. A stockholder or member may vote directly in person or indirectly to a representative. Proxy man, trustee agreement or voting trustee under a voting trust agreement, executors, administrators, receivers, or other legal representative duly appointed by the court. Voting may either be straight or cumulative. So those a matter of voting. Personal man, directly or indirectly. Now, voting in case of joint ownership of stock. The consent of all the owners shall be necessary in voting shares of stock owned jointly by two or more persons, unless there is a written proxy signed all by the core owners authorizing one or some of them, blah blah blah, provided that the shares are, para ito co-ownership na to eh. Ito, alam niyo na to, si treasury shares, walang voting right. Kanin ako. To, section 57 tayo. Manner of voting. Proxies. Diba? Ang proxies basically, as you have said, substitute yan. Representative mo. Stockholders and members may vote in person or by proxy. Indirectly si proxy. In all meetings of stockholders or members. When so authorized in the bylaws or by a majority of the board of directors, the stockholders or members of the corporation may also vote through remote communication or in absentia. Kahit hindi sila physically nandoon, pwede silang bumoto through remote communication or absentia. Like through Skype lang or send sila sa email. So pause muna tayo kasi biglang nag-blackout. So let's resume. So saan tayo kanina? Manner of voting sa proxies, stockholders and members may vote in person or by proxy in all meetings of stockholders or members. As we have said, di ba kanina, ang mga board of directors and trustees, hindi pwede. Pero ang stockholders and members, pwede mag-proxy sa meeting. When so authorized in the bylaws or by the majority ng board of directors, the stockholders or members ng corporation may also vote to remote communication or in absentia, provided that the votes received before the corporation finish says the tally of votes. So yan, through Skype sila mag-vote. Sabihin lang, ito ang boto ko, or send na lang nila ng email. Basta, before bilangan ng boto, nakasend na sila. Na-receive na yung boto nila. A stockholder or member who participates to remote communication or absentia shall be deemed present for purposes of quorum. Now, the corporation shall establish the appropriate requirements and procedures for voting through remote communication and in absentia, taking into account company scale, number of shareholders, etc. etc. Ito mahalaga. Excuse me po. Proxies shall be in writing. Bawal ang oral, dapat writing contract yan. Written contract. Signed and filed by the stockholder or member in any form authorized sa bylaws ng corporation and received by the corporate secretary within a reasonable time before the scheduled meeting. Unless otherwise provided sa bylaws, unless otherwise provided in proxy form, it shall be valid only for the meeting for which it is intended. So kung wala sinabi sa wala sinabi sa proxy form na aling meeting lang siya valid, then sa incoming meeting doon lang siya valid. Pero pag sinabi it is valid for 2 meetings, 3 meetings, or 5 years, good yan. No proxy shall be valid and effective for a period longer than 5 years at any one time. So yun sasabi natin, pwede it is valid for 4 years, it is valid for 5 years, pero bawal lumampas ng 5 years. Salient points, the revised corporation code further reiterated that if the bylaws provides other modes of voting is allowed as long as it is in accordance with the modes prescribed under the revised corporation code ng Pilipinas. Yun, yung remote in absentia, remote communication in absentia. Meaning of proxy, di ba? In simple terms, basically proxy yan yung substitute, yan yung representative mo. Parang agency, parang agent mo. Ikaw yung principal, si proxy yung agent mo. Pero dito ang sabi, a proxy, as the term is used, designates the formal written authority given by the owner or holder of the stock, who has the right to vote it, or by a member as principal to another person as agent to exercise the voting rights of the former. So you can see here, yung stockholder o yung member na may karapatang bumoto, dapat may karapatang bumoto sa yung principal. Siya yung principal. Then si proxy, siya yung agent, the representative of the principal. It is also used to apply to the holder of the it is also used to apply to the holder of the authority or person authorized by an absent stockholder or member to vote for him at the stockholders meeting, a stockholder members meeting. The term is also applied to refer to the instrument which evidences the authority of the agent. So yung proxy form, parang ganon. So, yung proxy is a special form of agency. Yung stockholder, gaya na sabi natin, yung stockholder or yung member, dapat may karapatan siyang bumoto is the principal. Si proxy, siya yung agent. The proxy holder is in the eye of the law, an agent and such as a fiduciary. Ang fiduciary, as we have said, it is a relationship that is based on trust. Purpose and use of proxy. The advantage derived from their use cannot be disregarded. Presence of quorum meetings, exercise right to vote, though absent, voting and management control. Pero, di ba, because of this revised corporation code ng Pilipinas, parang nabawasan yung importance si proxy. Bakit? Because of because pinayagan na yung remote communication or voting in absentia na kahit hindi ka physically present sa meeting, pwede ka pa rin bumoto. Remote communication in absentia in electronic form, whether video meeting man yan or voice call, or as long as they can verify that it's you, or magsisend ka through email, goods pa rin yan. Pero dati kasi, sa previous corporation code, hindi man yan provided. So, either directly present ka sa meeting, or may proxy ka. Kaya mahalaga yung proxy that time, considering 1980 pa na promulgate tong revised corporation code natin, di ba? So mahalaga si proxy. Pero in the advent ng revised corporation code natin, nabawasan ng importance si proxy kasi pwede nang mag-participate directly si stockholder, si member, kahit hindi siya physically present because of remote communication. Kaya lang man kailangan si proxies dito is most of the time because hindi maka-physically attend dati si stockholder, si member. Kaya kailangan ng proxies. But since now, sa revised corporation code, ulitin lang natin, pwede na ang remote communication, allowable na, nabawasan yung importance si proxy. So, who may be a proxy? Section 57 imposes no limitation as to the person na pwedeng ma-appoint as proxy. Hence, the stockholder member may appoint any person he sees fit to represent him, and bylaws restricting his right in this respect are likewise void. So yan, read na lang. Limitations on proxies, ito na mention natin. Proxies must be in writing, filed before the scheduled meeting sa corporate secretary, and as we have said, written siya dapat, bawal lang oral. Unless otherwise provided sa proxy, it is valid only for the meeting for which it is intended. The authority may be general limited. Then yung continuing proxy, hindi pwedeng lumampas ng 5 years. Pero let's say 10 years yung 10 years yung nakalagay sa sa proxy form nyo, sa contract nyo. So nag-participate na si proxy for 10 years. Yung valid doon is up to the 5 years lang. Anything beyond the 5 years, void na yun. Okay, it shall not be valid and effective after such period. So okay lang. Kahit na 10 years nakalagay dyan. Kasi yung magiging valid lang dyan is up to 5 years. Okay? So, extent of authority of proxy, general proxy limited, basahin na lang. Revocation of proxies, generally, even those irrevocable terms have always been considered as revocable unless coupled with an interest, and their revocation may be by formal notice, orally, or by conduct as by the appearance of the stockholder member giving the proxy, kahit na may proxy sila, pero pumunta mismo si stockholder or member sa meeting para i-represent sarili niya. Yung ganun. Or the sale of shares. So, dito tayo sa last section ng Title 6, which talks about voting trust. So, ito yung mga trust agreements. So, sabi dito, one or more stockholders of a corporation may create a voting trust for the purpose of conferring upon a trustee or trustees the right to vote and other rights pertaining to the shares for a period not exceeding 5 years at any time. Provided, medyo mahaba rin to, provided that in the case of voting trust specifically required as a condition in a loan agreement, said voting trust may be for a period not exceeding 5 years but shall automatically expire upon the full payment of the loan. So as you can see here, pwede yung mga one or more stockholders i-accumulate nila yung kanilang stocks and ilalagay nila yun sa isang voting trust for the purpose of conferring upon a trustee or trustees the right to vote and other rights pertaining, like inspection of books ng corporation. So basically parang ganito lang yan parang one or more stockholders inaccumulate nila yung kanilang yung kanilang stocks. Since inaccumulate na nila yan, ipapasa nila yan, i-confer nila yan sa tinatawag nating trustee or trustees para sila nang bahala, lalo na sa voting and other rights like inspection of books ng corporation. Ganun ang isang trust agreement when it comes to the stocks of the corporation. Ipagkakatiwala nila yan sa trustee or trustees. Na sir, anong pagkakaiba niyan sa proxy? Kasi di ba ang proxy parang ganun rin? Meron kang representative, pinagkatiwala mo sa kanya yung pag-vote sa corporation. Malalaman niyo later on anong difference niya. Kasi itong si trustee, itong trust agreement na to, mas complex siya. Mas hindi lang siya basta-basta simple. Kasi may involvement na dito ng mga certain documents. So let's continue. And dito, sabi dito, same sa proxy, hindi lalampas ng 5 years yung trust agreement. Pero may exception. Pwedeng lumampas kapag it is in relation to a loan agreement. Pero pag na full payment ng loan, expired na agad. Now, a voting trust agreement must be in writing and notarized. So yan, nakita nyo, in writing and notarized. Di ba si proxy? Writing lang. Itong si voting trust agreement, kailangan may rin yan ng notary public. para maging public document siya. And shall specify the terms and conditions thereof. A certified copy of such agreement shall be filed with the corporation and with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Otherwise, the agreement is ineffective and unenforceable. Tingnan nyo? Si proxy, hindi mo kailangan ni sa commission. Sa corporation, magsasubmit ka before the meeting. At a reasonable time before the meeting. Dito, both filed with the corporation and the commission. Kapag hindi na, edi yung voting trust agreement na yan is ineffective and unenforceable. The certificate or certificates of stocks covered by the voting trust agreement shall be cancelled. O yan pa, isa sa mga difference sila. And new one shall be issued in the name of the trustee or trustees, stating that they are issued pursuant to said voting trust agreement. Diba sa proxy, hindi na yung kinakancel eh. Dito kailangan i-cancel and mag-i-issue ng bago. In the name of the trustees and trustees. Bakit? Kasi basically sila na may hawak ng shares eh. Under a trust agreement. Sila na yung bahala dyan. The books of the corporation shall state that the transfer in the name of the trustee or trustees is made pursuant to the voting trust agreement. Now with this, the trustee or trustees shall execute and deliver to the transferors yung mga yung mga trustors na to na nag-confer sa kanila ng voting trust agreement, sila yung trustors or transferors, voting trust certificate, which shall be transferable in the same manner and with the same effect as certificate of stock. The voting trust agreement filed with the corporation shall be subject to the examination of any stockholder of the corporation in the same manner as any other corporate books of record, provided that both the trustor and the trustee or trustees may exercise the right of inspection of all corporate books and record in accordance with the provisions of the code. Any stockholder may transfer the share to the same trustee or trustees upon the terms and conditions stated in the voting trust agreement, etc., etc. No voting trust agreement shall be entered into for purposes of circumventing the law against anti-competitive agreements, abuse of dominant position, anti-competitive mergers acquisition, violation of nationality and capital requirements, and for the perpetuation of fraud. Unless expressly renewed, all rights granted in a voting trust agreement shall automatically expire at the end of the agreed period. Pag hindi na-renew, expire yan agad. Pero pag in relation to a loan, automatic mag-expire lang yan kapag fully paid na yung loan. The voting trust certificates as well as the certificate of stock in the name of trustee or trustees shall thereby be deemed cancelled, and new certificate of stock shall be reissued in the name of trustors. The voting trustee or trustees may vote by proxy. O, kita nyo dito. Trustee or trustees na sila, pwede rin silang mag-acquire or mag-vote by proxy, na may i-hire silang proxy na magboto para sa kanila. Pwede nilang gawin yon. Pero pag proxy, mag-hire pa ng other proxy, hindi pwede. In any manner authorized under the bylaws unless the agreement provides otherwise. So ito. Saan nito? Voting and other rights under a voting trust agreement. So ito, control in one person or a few person. Sila yung mga trustee or trustees. Pinagkatiwala sa kanila ng trustors yung shares nila. Pinagkatiwala sa kanila. Like, kayo na ang bahala dyan. Sometimes it is desired to place the control of all or part of the stock in the hands of one or of a few person. Para mas madali yung decision making, mas efficient. Diba? May compact may compact group. This may be done through a voting trust agreement. A good example of this, as we have said, yung mga minority shareholders. Di ba? Para on their own, itong mga minority shareholders na to, wala silang voice. Kasi minority sila eh. Pero kapag nag-join together sila, inaccumulate nila, ginupo nila yung kanilang shares, then magiging significant yung boses nila. So, a way of doing that is through a voting trust agreement. Igrupo nila yung mga shares nila para may significant voice sila sa corporation. Yan is another way. It may be defined as an agreement in writing whereby one or more stockholders of a stock corporation transferred their shares. Tandaan nyo, stock corporation to, transfer their shares to any person or persons or to a corporation having authority to act as a trustee for the purpose of vesting in such person or persons or corporation as trustee or trustees voting or other rights pertaining to the shares for a certain period not exceeding that fixed by the bylaw o by the code, which is 5 years. Kapag loan, pwede lumampas ng 5 years pero automatically expired kapag fully paid. And upon terms and conditions stated in the agreement. Status of voting trustee. A voting trust agreement transfer only voting or other rights pertaining to the shares subject of the agreement. Like inspection of books of the corporation or control over the stock, not the properties or assets of the corporation. So under the agreement, yung title sa shares conveyed is transferred to the trustee on the books of the corporation, di ba? Sasabihin nila sa corporation, etong shares namin, we are transferring this to our trustees. So with that, please cancel our shares of stock and reissue it in the name of our trustee. Kasi sila na yung magmamanage ng aming shares sa corporation. Ganon ang voting trust agreement. The certificates of stock covering said shares are surrendered and cancelled and new certificates are issued sa name ng voting trustee, in which the certificate as well as in the entry of the transfer books, it shall appear that they are issued pursuant to such voting trust agreement. So kailangan klaro na kahit nakapangalan yan sa kanila, kahit nakapangalan yan sa trustees, it is under a voting trust agreement para matrace kung sino yung trustor. Status of transferring stockholder. So ito yung mga trustor, yung nag-transfer ng shares sa trustees. By its very nature, as voting trust agreement results in the separation of the voting rights ng stockholders from his other rights. Anong other rights yun? Dividend rights. Ganon, other rights yun. So yung voting, yung inspection ng books, pwede yung voting transferred kay trustee. Pero yung kinikita ng corporation o yung kinikita niya sa corporation, which is the dividends, sa kanya pa rin mapupunta. O separation of rights yun. In such agreement, the transferring stockholders of a stock corporation parts with the voting power only but retains the equitable or beneficial ownership of stock. Yung karapatan mo sa dividends, karapatan mo sa properties ng corporation kapag nagkaroon ng liquidation, ganun. A voting trust is only a share owner vested with colorable and fictitious title for the sole purpose of voting upon the stocks that he does not own. So, voting trust certificate, basahin na lang to. So, in the meantime, cancellation, etc., etc. Powers or rights of the voting trustees, yung kanino ipinamahala, ipinagbigay, yung trust agreement. So, under Section 58, the trustee or trustee shall possess the right to vote and other rights pertaining to the shares so transferred and registered in his name. Ito naman, may vote in person or kahit na trustee siya, pwede pa siyang mag-hire ng proxy para bumoto sa kanya. Pero pag proxy ka, hindi ka na pwede mag-hire ng another proxy. May exercise like transfer right of inspection ng books ng corporation. The trustee is the legal title holder or owner of the shares so transferred under agreement. He therefore qualified to be a director. Oo, kasi nakapangalan sa kanya yung Although, ipinangalan lang sa kanya yung shares of stock because of a voting trust agreement. Nakapangalan sa kanya. Yun yung point doon. So with that, qualified siya maging director ng corporation. Now, anong purpose ng voting trust agreement? Gaya na sabi natin, na-mention natin kanina, for yung sa minority stockholders para magkaroon sila ng significant voice. So the ultimate control of a stock corporation depends upon the vote of the stockholders. Ultimate control yan. Kailangan silang owners The voting trust agreements are devised that may be used with the aim of controlling these votes. Ito, principal purpose. Under such agreement as that authorized by our law, makes possible a unified control of the affairs of the corporation and a consistent policy by binding stockholders to vote as a unit. I-aggregate nila, i-accumulate nila yung votes nila para yung boses nila mas maging significant. It also makes it possible for a majority group of shareholders who transfer their individual holdings to a voting trustee to dispose of their shares and still retain control of the corporation through the voting trustee, who shall have the power to vote as a unit, shares thus pooled. So, anong meaning nito, sir? Medyo magulo So, may shares ka na, pero may shares ka,
Tapos of which means you have majority of the shares, so you have the majority of the control, pero you want to dispose them, pero while still retaining the control by using a trustee agreement. Paano yun, sir? Ito may example tayo, illustration. Suppose itong si shareholder owns 51% of the voting shares ng corporation. So ibig sabihin, siya may control majority yan malaki yung control niya kasi minsan 'di ba kailangan 2/3, but in this case malaki yung control niya. By cumulative voting, he can elect 3 out of the 5 directors and so control its operation. 51% ang ano niya He may be anxious now because of this. He may be anxious to sell some of his shares, but he cannot do so without changing the controlling vote. So may dilemma siya. May 51% ownership siya. And this 51% ownership grants him the power to elect 3 out of the 5 directors. So with that, may control sa corporation. Now, napaisip siya na gusto kong ibenta yung shares ko, yung ibang shares ko. Pero kapag gagawin ko yun, mawawalan ako ng control sa corporation. So yun yung dilemma niya. So with that dilemma, paano niya yun masosolve? Through a voting trust agreement. So under Section 58, he can transfer all his shares first to a trustee, subject to the condition that the voting power shall at all times be exercised by the trustee in accordance with the instruction of all the holders of the majority of the trust certificates. Then he may sell 49% of the trust certificates and yet retain the power to vote through the trustee the whole of the trust shares. By this device, he may elect a majority of each director and thus control his affair even after the sale of a large proportion of his shares. Sir, magulo pa rin. Paano yan? Binenta niyo yung 49%, so 2% na lang yung matira sa kanya. Hindi ganon. Ganito yan. Let's say ito yung ownership ng corporation. Ayan. Diba? Then yung 51%, sa kanya, di ba? Yung 51%. So, ang dilemma niya, di ba? Gusto niyang i-dispose yung ibang shares niya without losing control. So, with that, ang gagawin niya, mag-voting trust agreement siya. Voting trust agreement. So, ito yon. Itong 51% na to, ito yon. I-represent natin as a whole. So, itong 51% ownership niya, i-represent natin to as a whole. Kung saan, in a voting trust agreement, itong buong 51%, i-confer niya sa isang trustee. So, yan buo. So, with that, yan yung setup nila. Then, ang sabi sa pinag-usapan nila, itong si shareholder, itong si trustee, na trustee, ganito ang mangyayari. Tawag dito? Sa all times is advertised upon instruction holders na yung voting mo will be based sa instruction ng holders of the majority ng trust certificate. Sabi ni shareholder kay trustee, yung basis ng magiging decisions mo for that 51% must be based on the instruction ng holders ng trust certificate. So, paano yan? Basically, itong 51% na to, hahatiin yan ni shareholder. Kasi di ba naging trust certificate na yan siya? Di ba? Naging trust certificate na yan siya. Yung trust certificate na yan, pwede niya mabenta. O, ibenta niya yung trust certificate niya. In this case, yung ibebenta niya is 49%. So, sa kanya pa rin tong other half, itong 49, binenta niya na. So, 49% of that 51%. So, ang sabi dito, with the instruction of the holders of majority of the trust certificate, kung anong instruction ng majority ng holders ng trust certificate, which is his shareholder, kasi 51% pa yung ownership niya dyan sa trust certificate 49% lang yung binenta niya. So, sa yung majority holder ng trust certificate. So, with that in mind, sasabihin niya kay trustee na kung na sa trust agreement nila, susundin niya lang yung desire, yung instruction ng majority holder ng trust certificate, which is si shareholder at the first place. So, kita niya din, no? Nabenta niya na yung 49% ng kanyang 51% while still retaining control, the majority. O, yan yung purpose ng voting trust agreement. So, I hope naintindihan nyo. Purpose held to be valid. So, listed yan dito kung ano mga valid purpose ng trusting agreement. Dito naman yung mga invalid purposes sa trusting agreement. And these are the limitations. No voting trust agreement, 5 years at any one time. Pwede lang mag-exceed sa 5 years kapag in relation to a loan, and it automatically expires kapag fully paid na yung loan. For the purpose of circumventing the law against monopoly legal combination, bawal din. Kapag yung agreement ginawa for the purpose of fraud, bawal. Dapat in writing siya and notarized, certified copy of the agreement. Dapat i-file Securities Exchange Commission para maging valid siya. Dapat subject to the examinations and stockholders because it is considered as part of the book of the corporation or corporate records. Ito, unless actually renewed. Ito, distinguishment between the proxy and the voting trust. Na-discuss natin iba kanina. So, si proxy, wala siyang legal title. Because he's basically the agent of the principal. Si trustee naman may legal title. Voting trust agreement. It is in writing na notarized pa. So, it is considered to be as public instrument. Proxy, unless coupled with the interest, is revocable anytime. Si voting trust agreement, kapag validly executed, hindi mo siya pwedeng ma-revoke for a definite and limited period of time. So, kailangan ma-expire muna siya. A proxy can only act at the specified stockholder or members meeting kapag hindi siya continuing in nature. Yung continuing proxy yung at the maximum 5 years. While a trustee is not limited to any particular meeting kasi may mga other rights na pwedeng ma-exercise like inspection of corporate books na hindi lang voting. Pwede na mag-inspect siya ng corporate books. A proxy votes only in the absence of the owner of the stock kasi may purpose na eh. Kapag hindi makaten si owner, edi siya mag-substitute sa kanya. Pero on the other hand, pagdating kay trustee, he can vote and exercise all the rights of transferring stockholders even though the latter is present. Kasi yun yung agreement nila eh. Ipinag-ubaya ni trustor shareholders kay trustee yung pamamahala, yung management ng kanyang shares of stock sa corporation. A proxy is usually of shorter duration than a voting trust agreement pero none of them can exceed 5 years. Pero as we have seen kanina, pwedeng lumampas si trust agreement kapag involved is loan, pero upon fully payment the loan, it automatically expire. So, proxy need not to be notarized nor a copy filed with the Securities Exchange Commission. Diba? Kasi si proxy, i-file mo lang siya sa secretary ng corporation at a reasonable time before the meeting. Pero si trust agreement, file mo sa corporation, file ka rin sa Securities Exchange Commission para maging valid siya. A proxy does not have the right to inspection corporate books. Si trustee, meron. So, yan lang. Section 58. Tapos na tayo sa meetings, Title 6. So, next video will be Title 7.